Okay, so we're taking the mat and we're bringing it lengthwise to start. And let's come and just bring our feet together into Tadasana. So let's lift the toes and think about spreading the toes wide as well as lengthening the toes. So I almost inch my toe knuckles forward to feel a sense of lengthening the feet, lengthening the toes, spreading the toes wide. Let's release the toes down. Now press through your outer heels, draw your inner ankles together. So as you press through the heels, you can feel how the thighs draw back. So press through the heels, draw the thighs back. So the inner thighs draw back, the fronts of the thighs draw back, and the outer thighs draw back, and we continue that action of drawing the outer buttocks cheeks in. So there's a space between the buttocks and the hip. Draw that space in, draw that area in, outer buttocks cheeks in. This is the main thought for this yoga class today. Okay, so keeping the legs working, that's inhale, lift through the crease of the armpit chest, back ribs in as we continue that sense of lifting through the sternum. Widen the collarbone and connect that outer collarbone with the back of the shoulder blade. Let's draw the inner shoulder blades together, outer shoulder blades towards the inner shoulder blades. Draw the outer forearms back. So the outer biceps draw back, firm the elbows, point your fingers. Here we are. So we want to resist bringing the pelvis forward. So the thighs draw back, outer buttocks cheeks in. Let's take the left arm forward, right hand underneath the left. That's externally rotate that shoulder. Use your hand to assist. And then let's reach the arm up using that right hand to lift that left arm up. So assisted lifting to start. Thighs back, outer buttocks cheeks in, and then look up as you press through your heels to keep those thighs drawing back as you reach and lift that left arm as high as you can. Let's bend the left elbow. Take your right hand and press that left elbow down. So continue that effort of the legs, pressing through the heels, drawing those thighs back, outer buttocks cheeks in. Resist this. Good. Let's take the right hand forward. Turn the right thumb down so it's an internal rotation of that right armpit chest to start. Right palm is flat and open in the back. And now we want to use the breath to lift the crease of this right armpit chest. Let's inhale, lifting up through the armpit chest, through the sides of the spine, back ribs into the body, continuing that lift through the sternum, through the front of the chest. Just focus on letting the breath bring this transformation forward. So eventually the breath will help to lift that right armpit chest and take that shoulder back. Let's slowly release. Let's take the right arm forward, left hand underneath the right. So the forefingers are on that outer bicep as we externally rotate the shoulder out. Let's use the left hand to help lift that right arm. So it's an assisted lift to start, pressing through those heels to keep the thighs back, and then look up, letting the breath create that length. Bend the right elbow. Let's take the left hand on top of that right elbow and just draw that forearm down into the shoulder socket. Left hand forward, so turn that left thumb down. It's an internal rotation to start. And have that left hand flat. That's again, inhale, lifting through the armpit chest. Exhale, press through those heels, thighs back. So let the breath create that space inside the body. Let the transformation begin. Let's slowly release, nicely done. Whew. So let's take the feet hip width apart and turn your feet so that the outsides of your feet are truly parallel. Because today we're focusing on pressing through those outer heels. The outer heels, finding the outsides of the feet. And let's draw those inner thighs back, the front of the thighs back. And we can feel the stretch in the backs of the legs. So continue that effort to spread through the backs of the legs, widening from the crease in the inner leg to the outer thigh. And let's draw the outer buttocks cheeks in. So there's two actions here. We can feel the thighs drawing back, and then we actively press through those outer heels, outer buttocks cheeks in. Widen through your collarbone. Let's reach the left arm up, so keep the right collarbone wide. Squeeze your inner shoulder blades together, thighs back. So press through those heels, and let's look up. Deep breaths here. Allow the breath to lead the effort. Pressing through those outer back heels, outer buttocks cheeks in, and the thighs are pressing back. Let's take the left hand down, and let's reach the right arm up. So left collarbone to the shoulder blade, inner shoulder blades together, pressing through the outsides of the feet, thighs back, and let's look up. So over many breaths, we start to feel this length come. This is the slow drip of transformation. Let's take the right hand back to meet the left. So let's take our blocks and let's bring our blocks forward. We're going to need the blocks now. And let's take the feet even wider. And again, the focus is to get those outer feet parallel. So turn your toes in and see if you can feel your inner thighs draw back, the fronts of the thighs draw back, and now actively press through those outer heels. So the outer heels press down, the outer buttocks cheeks draw in, but there is also the action of widening through the backs of the thighs as the thighs draw back. So keep those feet active here. Outer buttocks, cheeks in. Let's take the hands to the hips. Prasarita Padottanasana. Let's inhale, lift the chest, lengthening through the spine. And let's exhale as we hinge, folding forward. And let's start by taking the hands to the blocks, concave spine. So if you cannot manage to feel a sense of spinal extension, you might want to come up a little higher, but everybody looks good here. So let's squeeze the inner shoulder blades together. So draw the shoulders down away from the ears, rolling the creases of the inner elbows forward. And let's press through those feet, thighs back. Press through your outer heels, outer buttocks, cheeks draw in. Let the breath lead the effort. So feel those creases of the inner elbows rolling forward. Good. So that's inhale, lengthening the spine, reaching the heart forward. Exhale, bend the elbows as you fold. See if you can take your hips as far forward so they stack nicely, joint by joint. Release your head down. Let's take the hands to the hips and pressing through those outer feet, thighs back, then slowly lift back up. Good. So let's take the feet now, hip width apart, and let's hinge over your hips and just take your hands to the blocks. Good. Let's lift the right leg up and back, reach through that right heel. Let's take the left hand, use your thumb to the hip crease, draw that left hip back. So we want both sides of the spine equal, so as we draw that left hip back, it should be in line with the right hip. Let's draw the shoulders down away from the ears, concave spine. As we take the left hand back to the block, let's press through that left heel, feel your outer buttocks cheek draw in. So we don't want the head of the femur sticking out. We want the left buttocks cheek to draw in, and we actively press through the left heel to help do that. Let's bend the right knee, and pressing through that left heel, let's lift the right knee 5 times. See if you can keep your inner shoulder blades together, concave spine. So work from that standing leg, pressing through that left heel, using your outer buttocks cheek to balance that left hip on top of the knee. Good. Let's release the right foot down, and let's change sides. So let's lift the left leg, reach through the left heel, right hand to the right hip. Let's take that right hip back. So draw that outer right buttocks cheek in, press through that right heel. That right kneecap is lifting, right upper thigh lifts. Good. Right hand to the block, bend the left knee, press through your right heel to lift that left knee. Slowly 5 times. Keep your inner shoulder blades together. Just do your best to bring a concave spine. Good. This is a tough one. Yeah. Good job. Let's release the left foot down and just bend your elbows, release your head, Uttanasana. So this is a good opportunity to look at the alignment and make sure those hips aren't behind the heels. Let's stack the hips above the knees, kneecaps and thighs lifting. And let's lift the chest again, concave spine. And let's lift that right leg out to the side. Woo! Yeah. Lift that leg. So we can practice this at home to strengthen the muscles around the hips. Nicely done. Other side. Let's lift the left leg. Great. So we want that heel working, keeping that outer right buttocks cheek in. Nicely done. Let's release. And let's bend the knees here and just drop your knees down. So just a moment to open the toes. See if you can take a moment and tuck those toes in and under. So let's untuck the toes and just take a moment in Virasana. So knees together and the feet are on the outsides of the hips, and just take your hands underneath your feet. Press through the tops of the ankles and just tip forward. Stretch the tops of the feet. So we're pressing actively through the tops of the ankles. Good job. Good job. And let's slowly release. So let's come onto the back and just draw the knees into the chest. So draw the knees into the chest and just take a moment and rock from side to side here, releasing through your lower back and your hips. And let's open the arms out to the T position and release your knees over to the right. Let's bring the inner thighs as close as we can together. Take your right hand on top of the left thigh. And let's inhale, lift the chest. So lift through the sides of the body, lift through the center chest. And as you exhale, gaze to your left. So what is this big word, transformation? Yoga will transform you, but it is a happening, lingering in the moment with the breath. Over time, it's a slow drip. We find we're in another place, a new place. So let the breath lead you there. Now see if you can start to straighten that left leg, that top left leg, and take your right hand to your big left toe. Just do your best. Otherwise, just take your shin, and if you needed some support, you can always take a block or a bolster underneath that inner ankle. But just work toward reaching for that big left toe, keeping your inner thighs together. That's inhale, lift the chest again, and as you exhale, gaze over to the left. Think about taking your left outer buttocks cheek down towards your right foot. So this left hip is drawing down towards that right foot, and we are lengthening through the center of your heel. Imagine a dot in the center of your heel. Lengthen out through that center. Good. Let's release wherever you've got your hand. Let's bend that left knee. Take your left hand over to your right palm and slide that left hand past the right to release the back. Let's come all the way over to the other side, so opening up to the T position. Let's lift the knees up through center and over to the left. Let's bring the inner thighs together. Take your left hand on top of your right thigh. Inhale, lift the armpit chest. So feel the length come through the spine. And exhale as you gaze to the right. So let the breath start to lead you to this new place. Let the mind be still. The mind must be silent to listen. And in that moment of silence, we are able to listen to the whispers of life. Now, if you can, let's start to straighten that top right leg and reach through the right heel as you take your left hand as close to the the right toe as you can. And then inhale, lift your chest as you gaze to the right. Let's draw that right hip down towards the left foot. And at the same time, reach out through the center of that right heel. Breathe deeply. Start to let that ongoing conversation fall away. Replace all that thought with mindful breathing. Let's release that big toe, bending the knee. Take your right hand over to meet the left. Slide the right hand past the left to release the back. And let's open that arm back to the T position. And let's lift the knees up through center. And let's take the left leg in front. So the left knee forward, and let's take the right leg back. Left hand to the right foot. Take the right foot to the floor as you move your right knee as far away from the left as you can. Let's press through that outer right thigh. Inhale, lift the chest, so lift the armpit chest. The sternum is tracking towards the sky. And to keep this left hip on top of the right, let's start to work at any place that you can, straightening that left leg. At some point, we can use a strap and catch the foot, or not. Let the breath create this movement inside the body. Let's release, bringing the knees back together. Take your left hand over to the right, and let's slide that hand past to release the back. And let's come back over to the left. Take your right top leg to the floor, and let's take the left leg behind. So the right hand catches the left foot, take the left foot to the floor. So we open the chest, we open the sternum to the sky, press actively through this outer left thigh. So we start to feel that outer left buttocks cheek draw in. And then to keep this right hip stacking on top of the left, just straighten the right leg. So it can be here. Just start to straighten the leg and be conscious of lengthening out through that center right heel. And again, if you want to come to the full pose, Supta Kapottasana, taking the left hand to the right foot or using a belt. But you want to be in a place where you can breathe and embrace the pose. So actively pressing through the outer left thigh, lifting through the armpit chest, reaching through that right heel. We let the breath take us to this place of transformation, this new place. It's a happening. There's no doership. Let's release, bringing the knees together. Again, take your right hand to the left and slide that hand past to release the back. Let's take the right hand to the floor and gently press yourself up. Good. So we're coming forward now. Let's take the feet into Buttocks. Let's take the hands behind. So this is not typically how we do this pose. Usually we elevate to keep the knees in line with the hip, but today we're exploring something new. So let's lift the buttocks and hips as close as you can to the heels. And think about, again, lifting through that armpit chest, lengthening through the spine, keeping the spine in extension. Tough to do. Let's take the left hand to the inner left thigh, and as you press that left knee down, see if you can maintain that sense of lifting through the upper chest. So this is very much a matter of lingering for some time, so feel free to try this at home and linger for a while, because you'll find that over time, the knee will start to drop and you will be able to maintain that spinal extension. If this is out of the question, you can come to the wall and elevate. So you would sit on a block or a bolster and just come to the wall. So we can press that knee down, good. Lifting through the chest. And then let's come to the other side. So if we were to repeat this, you would find that you would make some headway. Each time you did it, it would be a little more successful. So see if you can press your hand to draw the knee down, lift through the chest. Excellent. See if you can squeeze your inner shoulder blades together. Drop the knee down. Lift through the chest. Squeeze your inner shoulder blades together. The slow drip of change. Hallelujah. All right, let's release. And let's open the legs out into Upavista Konasana. But again, just think about pushing, that's it. Very nice. And now feel a sense of drawing those outer buttocks cheeks in, reaching through the center of the heel, back of the thighs, down to the floor. We're not looking for the stretch on the inner legs. So we want to feel those outer buttocks cheeks drawing in. This is very much a pose of transformation. Over time, you just find yourself in a new place. Good. Let's take the hands to the outer legs and just gently lift up. And let's cross the legs. Let's take the mat now and just bring it lengthwise. Let's take our blocks and place them shoulder width apart and give yourself some distance here, at least a foot, to fold the mat over the blocks. Let's take the hands to the edge of the blocks, shoulders down away from the ears as you roll the creases of the inner elbows forward. So get those shoulders down, feel the outer forearms draw in so you can start to feel those muscles become active. And let's tuck the toes in and under, downward dog. So this is a great opportunity to create some opening in this pose in the armpit chest. So the elbows need to be straight, shoulders down away from the ears, outer forearms in, crease of the inner elbows are rolling up towards the sky. Lift your kneecaps, lift your upper thighs, lift your hips, outer heels down as you lengthen your toes forward. So feel those outer heels actively pressed to the floor. Relax your head down. Release your knees down. Good. Let's take the knees back behind your hips, excuse me. So make sure your knees are behind your hips, that's it. Shoulders down, rolling the crease of the inner elbows forward. Let's take the pubic bone and pelvis towards your hands. Lift your knees. Reach back through your heels, outer buttocks cheeks in, top of the thighs lift up into the back, and let's squeeze those inner shoulders together, pubic bone and chest forward, and look up. Very nice. Let's release the knees down, and now let's take the blocks to the wall. Slide the mat back to the wall, and we're going to explore elevating the feet to create a longer leg in downward dog. Let's take the feet, the balls of the feet onto the bricks, heels against the wall, and let's walk the hands forward. So have those creases of the inner elbows rolling forward. And let's lift the hips, lift the kneecaps, lift the upper thighs. Press through your heels to create that lifting. And then slowly step off your blocks. let's drop the knees down. I'm just going to take my mat back forward, away from the wall. And let's come onto the belly now. And just bring your forehead to the floor. Let's take the hands down to the hips. And let's look at the lower half of the body here. So actively press through the tops of the toes, lengthen those toes, draw your outer ankles in, outer shins in, so forehead to the floor, outer buttocks, cheeks in like a hammer. So create that dent that separates the buttocks from the hip. Let's lift the inner thighs and the outer legs. Lifting the legs up. Let's press through the pubic bone. Outer buttocks, cheeks in. Let's release the legs. Bringing your elbows forward. Let's bring the forearm parallel, the right forearm parallel to the mat. And let's bend the left leg. Just take your hand to the ankle. Flex your left foot. Good. Squeeze your inner shoulder blades together. And let's press that left foot into the hand. So squeeze your inner shoulder blades together. Press that left foot into the hand. Press. Let's release and change sides. So bring your left forearm so it's parallel. Bend your right leg. Take your right hand to your right ankle. Flex your left foot. Squeeze your inner shoulder blades together, and now press that right foot into the hand. That's it. So lift up, lift and lengthen through the armpit chest, keeping the inner shoulder blades actively tracking in. Press that right foot into the hand. Release. Let's take the hands to the chest, the outer chest. Press those hands, draw the elbows back, lifting through the armpit chest. Let's press through the tops of the feet. So look forward. Outer buttocks, cheeks in. And let's lift up into upward facing dog. So shoulders down, crease of the inner elbows forward. Pubic bone and chest forward. Press through those top feet. And let's release the knees wide. Let's take the feet together and bring your block forward to support your head. Let's bring the arms forward into Adho Mukha Virasana. Take your right hand and just thread it underneath your left. Just turn your right ear to the floor. So breathe to create that change from the inside out. Let the mind go. And in that moment of silence, you will find that place. Take your right hand back to meet the left, and let's take the left hand and thread it underneath the right, and turn your left ear to the floor. Release your hips down to your heels. Let the breath lift the armpit chest. Let's take the left hand back to meet the right. And let's lift up into the table position. And just to get us there, let's draw those outer shoulders down away from the ears as you roll the creases of the inner elbows forward. Tuck the toes in and under, downward dog. And let's walk the hands to the hips and slowly come up. Great. Okay, let's grab the chair and just take your blanket and place it underneath the legs of the chair. And this will make it easier to slide the chair away from us. That's going to be the action. Let's come and just step, turning your right hand to face the chair. Let's take the feet roughly a leg distance apart. And now pivot both your feet forward to take the hips square. So this left hip typically is slightly behind, and you can see how the belly is heading this way. We want the hips completely square like headlights. So much so that we can feel that inner left thigh drawing back. So we're leading from that inner left thigh as we press that outer left heel to the floor. Outer left buttocks cheek in. Let's press the big right toe and the toe next to it. Feel the kneecap lift. Feel the stretch in that thigh as the upper thigh lifts. Outer right buttocks cheek in. So we draw those outer buttocks cheeks in like a hammer. And leading with that inner left thigh, let's take the hands to the chair, pressing from the back left heel. That's push the chair away from us. Let's stop halfway. Take your right hand to your right hip crease, so you can use your right thumb to pull that right hip back and draw the left hip forward. Pressing through the feet. Let's push the chair even further away. So we want the hips completely square. Let's take the right hand to the shin. Draw the right shoulder down the back and roll the crease of that inner right elbow forward. Squeeze your inner shoulder blades together, lift through the armpit chest. Press through your feet, outer buttocks, cheeks in. Right hand to the chair. Let's take the left hand to the shin. Again, draw the left shoulder down the back. Roll the crease of that inner left elbow forward. And let's squeeze the inner shoulder blades together as we lift through the armpit chest. So outer buttocks, cheeks draw in. Very nice. Let's take the right hand to the hip, left hand to the hip. Slowly come up. Pivot your feet forward, and let's do the other side. So just bring your chair back, and let's take the feet from Tadasana. Open your feet a leg width apart, and let's pivot both of the feet forward so that you can manage to take this right hip forward. And actively press through the back of that right heel to feel that outer right buttocks cheek draw in. So this leg is fully engaged. Let's press through the big left toe and the toe next to it to feel that stretch in the thigh as you lift your kneecap up that thigh. Press through the left heel to draw the outer left buttocks cheek in. So outer buttocks cheeks draw in like a hammer. Create that dent to separate the hip from the buttocks. Hands to the chair. Let's lead from that inner right thigh. So inner right thigh back, press through the heel, outer buttocks cheeks draw in. Let's take the left hand, bring the left thumb to the hip crease, draw that left hip back as you take your right hip forward, and then let's complete the gesture of reaching the chair forward, inner shoulder blades together. Left hand to the shin, draw that shoulder down and the crease of that inner left elbow forward, leading with that inner back thigh. Let's change arms. So again, the right shoulder down the back, crease of the inner elbow forward, press from that inner right thigh. So that inner right thigh is drawing back. We're squeezing the shoulder blades together. Good. Let's take the right hand to the hip, left hand to the hip, and slowly come up and pivot your feet forward. Excellent. So let's do just a few more poses with the chair. Let's take the chair back. And that's just take the feet leg width apart and pivot the feet forward. So your right foot is tracking first. So drawing from that inner left thigh so the hips are square. Let's take the hands to the chair and pressing the chair away from you. Let's bend the right knee and lift the left leg. So reach through the left heel. Let's take the right hand and draw that right hip back, press through the right heel to draw that outer right buttocks cheek in. And then let's take the right hand to the chair, Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. So feel your outer buttocks cheeks draw in. Sometimes the placement can be like so. And then let's bend the right knee and then slowly step back. Not so easy, and pivot the feet forward. Good. Other side. So let's take the feet apart, pivot your feet forward so both hips are square. Look for that inner right thigh to draw back, outer buttocks cheeks draw in. Hands to the chair, and let's press the chair away as we bend the left knee. And just lift the right leg to start. Let's take the left hand to the left hip crease. So as we pull that left hip back, we press to that left heel and draw that outer left buttocks cheek in. Good. Left hand to meet the right. Warrior 3. So feel your outer buttocks cheeks draw in. Reach through your heels. Let's bend that left knee. Hands to the hips as you step the right leg back. Good. Pivoting the forward. Very nice. So let's take the chair now and just bring it to the right side of the mat. And just bring, in fact, 2 chair legs onto the mat. So again, we would just step the feet wide and pivot the feet forward so the right foot is forward. Left hip so that the inner left thigh is leading, right hip is drawing back, right hand to the chair, fingers are facing forward, and let's bring the elbow as close to stacking to the wrist, and just take your left hand to the shin, and again, roll that crease of the inner left elbow forward, draw that shoulder down, and let's press the right hand to twist. So everybody's going to be in a different place. You can come lower. But we're looking for the action of drawing that elbow in to bring about this twist. And then slowly come back up. Good. And let's change sides. So let's take the chair over to the left. So let's just start with our back to the chair. Let's take the feet apart. And again, pivot the feet forward so the hips are completely square like headlights. We're leading with that inner right thigh. So feel the inner right thigh draw back. Press through that outer right heel. Press through the big toe and the toe next to it. Press through that left heel. Outer buttocks, cheeks in. Left hand to the chair, fingers face forward. Let's take the right hand to the shin. Roll the crease of that inner right elbow forward. Shoulder down the back. And let's press that left hand to bring that twist about. So don't forget, we're drawing that inner right thigh back. Twisting. We can be up. We can be down, but we want that right hip drawing forward, left hip drawing back. And then let's slowly come back up. Good. Here's another great twist. Let's take the chair forward and just so it doesn't slide, bring two of the legs onto the mat. Let's come and sit so that your right hand is on the arm of the chair. Sit back in the chair, right hand, fingers face forward, elbow on top of the wrist. Let's reach the left arm forward and to the outer right thigh. Press that right hand. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Let the breath lead the effort here. Let the transformation come. It's a happening. We don't do this transformation. That's the beauty of this Wunderbar. Let's slowly release. And let's come back and just slide over to the other side. So just sitting back in your chair. Take your left hand on top of the chair, fingers face forward. Stack your elbow on top of the wrist. Reach the right hand forward and take it to the outer left thigh. Press that left hand into the chair. Let the breath lead the effort here. Good job. And then let's slowly press into that left hand to come up. And let's take our blocks and sliding our legs back, sliding our buttocks back into the chair. That's full forward. And just walk your blocks forward. Let's slowly come back up. So let's stand to the side. So let's turn to the side. And let's open the feet wide. press through the outer feet, draw your inner thighs back, fronts of the thighs towards the backs of the thighs. We feel that stretch through the backs of the legs as we widen from the inner to the outer crease. And then lastly, draw those outer buttocks cheeks in without taking your pelvis forward. So we're going to look at Trikonasana today. Primarily, we're looking at the legs. So let's pivot the right foot into the left, pivot the left foot forward. Just watch how, as I press actively through the outer right heel and draw the outer right buttocks cheek in. Notice how, as I draw the right thigh back, this will turn the torso from left to right. The front leg, we press through the big left toe and the second toe next to it to feel that left kneecap start to lift. We feel the stretch in the left quadricep muscles. We want to make sure that this outer left buttocks cheek is drawing in. If it's sticking out, this creates a big curve in the front of the body, and we compromise the safety of the knee. So draw those outer buttocks cheeks in like a hammer. Thighs are rolling out, and then we take the left hand to the chair, keeping that outer left hip in. Let's press the chair away from us. Now notice, as I take this right thigh back, this turns the torso. So the right leg turns the body, and the left leg, the left foot, is actively working to keep that outer buttocks cheek in, as well as that knee rolling in. Let's take the left hand to the shin, roll the crease of that inner left elbow forward, thigh back. Let's reach the right arm up if you like, or just focus on opening the chest, head back, inner shoulder blades together. And then slowly come up. Pivot the left foot forward, and we either heel toe or jump. And let's change sides. So let's take the chair back. Excellent. Let's step the feet out to the side. Pivot your left foot in, hands to the hips. Pivot your right foot forward. Let's press through that outer left heel to draw the outer left buttocks cheek in. Draw that left thigh back. Press through the big right toe. Press through the second toe next to it to feel that right thigh lift. Lifting your kneecap, lifting your upper thigh. Let's draw the outer buttocks cheeks in. Thighs roll out. So we do not start to come down until we can keep that right head of the femur bone in. Pressing from the left back leg, let's reach that right arm forward. So we're lengthening through that right side. The right buttocks cheek is drawing deeply in and under. The left thigh draws back to open the torso towards the ceiling. And you can either stay here or reach that left arm up. Let's take the right hand to the shin, roll the crease of that right elbow forward, draw the shoulder down the back, feel your inner shoulder blades squeeze together. And then let's slowly come up, pressing through that back left heel. Let's pivot the right foot forward. Excellent. We're going to do prep for headstand, Salamba Shirshasana. So let's take the mat to the wall. And we're going to start with interlacing the hands, and cross one thumb over top so we know which side we're doing. Let's open the elbows so they're approximately shoulder width apart. Press actively through the outer wrists. Make the forearms heavy. Let's tuck the toes in and under, and let's lift the hips and pelvis, walk the feet in to get those hips nice and high. So just take a moment here, draw your shoulders up away from the ears, and let's come up onto the balls of the feet and press through the balls of the feet to lift the pelvis. So we're working on strength here to prepare the body for Shirshasana headstand. So let's take the heels down, lift the kneecaps and upper thighs. Let's lift the heels up. So we can see how just the simple action of lifting the heels up and down elevates the pelvis. And then let's take the heels down. Let's bring the knees to the floor. So now that the knees are on the floor, let's take the head and place the head and lift those knees again. Walking the feet in, shoulders up, away from the ears. And let's lift the right leg and bend the left knee. So this is how we would kick up into Shirshasana. So let's do both legs. Let's lift the left leg, bend the right knee, and so on. So just start to practice this effort, keeping those shoulders lifting away from the ears, and there's less than 10% weight on the head. When you're done, knees wide, feet together, hands to the ankles as we come into child's pose. Good. And let's slowly lift the head. There are 2 restorative poses that I would like to review to finish the class. Let's take the blocks, and our typical setup is we take the high block, the top block to the high level, and take this one to the second level. Let's come and just lay over your blocks. And let's cross the right knee over the left knee. And let's take the bolster, and we're going to support the legs as we bring the knees over to the left. So we just support entirely, and let's look to the right. So this is a classic example of a transformation pose where just focusing on breathing will bring the body to a new place. So this is a very good pose for somebody that has a minor scoliosis or a shorter, stronger side on one and a longer, weaker side on the other. This is a very common ailment, and this is an excellent pose to help to resolve imbalance inside the body, especially as it relates to the spinal column. So we would do the other side. Let's slowly uncross the legs. Let's slide the bolster over to the right. And let's bend the legs. And let's cross the left knee this time over the right. And we support. So this support is essential in order to let go. And then we look to the left. So the knees are tracking to the right, and we are looking slightly to the left. The breath is what starts to create that transformation inside. As we lengthen and twist the spine, in this spinal extension. This is an excellent way to start your day or to finish your day. So feel free to linger here as long as you like. Enough time to allow that slow drip, that slow change to take place, where you feel a sense of things coming together as one, that unity or yoking. This is what we call yoga. Yoga is that transformation. Let's slowly uncross the legs. And now we're going to take one more pose. So let's come over to the right. And just remove your blocks. Let's bring the blanket. And just open the blanket up. And let's come and just lay flat on the belly. Let's bring the left forearm so it's parallel and stack your right forearm over your left. And we can start with the forehead down. Let's bend the right knee. And if you like, so it's up to you whether you want to have your forehead down or you can turn your head to the right. So again, we want to feel a sense of that outer right buttocks cheek drawing in to create this length through the right side. And then over time, you can change the length of your forearms. So the effort really is to keep present with the breath. Don't allow the mind to wander. Don't allow that thought to take away your energy. Just allow the mind to return back to the breath. And then we slowly straighten that right leg. And let's start from the same side on the left. Let's bend the left knee and just bring your forehead either straight down or you feel free to turn your cheek. So again, we're working to draw that outer left buttocks cheek in on both sides. And this creates that length down this left side. And then over time again, we would just change the length of the forearms. And then over time, when you feel that that transformation has taken place, typically we have moved from a muscular action to a deeper place where it becomes organic. We're now penetrating the organs. And then finally we come to a new place, an energetic place, where it's just an energy taking place inside the body with the breath. So let's come out and let's make our way into our final rest now, Shavasana. So just take a blanket to support the head. And we're going to bring the bolster on top of the thighs. And just take your shoulders, tucking them in and under. Let's just allow the feet to just fall out to the sides. Allow this place of stillness to be your Shavasana.